When I came to stay with Uncle Rick for the summer, I thought it would just be like old times. He and my mom were close siblings, and after my parents' divorce, I had spent countless weekends at his lake house in upstate New York. But that was when I was a kid. Now I was 20 in college, and everything had changed. I hadn't seen him in over 2 years, and when he pulled up at the train station, I almost didn't recognize him. He looked good, better than I remembered. His hair was peppered with gray now, but it only made him look more rugged. His shoulders were broad, and his jaw still had that square, masculine strength I remembered from my childhood, only now it affected me in a way I didn't expect. He gave me a hug as I slid into the passenger seat of his truck, and the smell of his cologne, woodsy and clean, lingered as he pulled away from the curb. "Long ride?" he asked, glancing over with a familiar smile. "Not too bad," I replied, adjusting my sundress, suddenly aware of how short it was. "Thanks again for letting me stay. I just needed a break from everything." "You're always welcome here, sweetheart. You know that." We drove in silence for a few minutes, the trees flashing past, the windows down. I caught him glancing at me once, just once, but it lingered longer than I expected. Maybe I was imagining things. That first night, I settled into the guest room that hadn't changed much since I was a teenager. Posters of bands I no longer listened to, a mirror with tiny string lights that still worked. Uncle Rick cooked dinner, grilled chicken and corn on the cob, and we drank iced tea on the back deck as the sun dipped below the lake. We talked about school, about my recent breakup, about how hard it had been watching Mom remarry a man I barely liked. Uncle Rick listened quietly. He was always good at that, always made me feel heard, seen. But now at 20, the way he looked at me didn't feel the same. And I wasn't sure if it was him who'd changed or me. The moment that changed everything happened 3 nights later. It was around 11. I'd gone to bed early, or at least pretended to. I couldn't sleep, my thoughts racing. I wandered out of my room, barefoot, the house dim except for a flicker of light coming from the living room. I padded toward it, curious. That's when I saw it. Uncle Rick was on the couch, shirtless, a glass of whiskey in one hand. He had his laptop open on the coffee table, headphones in his ears. But he didn't see me. His eyes were locked on the screen, and I couldn't look away. What I saw shocked me. It wasn't just adult content. It was a video of a younger woman, someone who looked eerily similar to me. Her hair, her body type, even her voice when she spoke. I froze. My first instinct was to turn away, to back out slowly and pretend I never saw anything. But something in me didn't move. I just stood there, watching him watch her. And then, without thinking, I made a noise. A small cough, a shift on the floorboard. He looked up, our eyes locked. Panic flashed across his face. "Olivia, Jesus, I thought you were asleep," he stammered, slamming the laptop shut. "I was," I said, my voice calm, too calm. But I couldn't sleep. His face turned red. He stood, reaching for his shirt, but I stopped him. "You don't have to explain," I said quietly. "It's okay." He looked at me, searching for a reaction. Shame, maybe. Anger. Disgust. But I didn't feel any of those things. I felt curious, and something else I couldn't name. He sat down again, shirt still clutched in his hand, unsure of what to say. "I wasn't trying to," he began. "I know," I said, sitting beside him on the couch. "I just didn't expect it." There was a silence. Thick. Tense. "You looked really into it," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. He blinked at me, unsure if I was teasing him or accusing him. "I'm sorry," he said again. "I should have waited till I was sure you were asleep." "Do you always watch things like that?" He hesitated. "Sometimes. With girls like that?" He swallowed hard. "It's complicated." I turned toward him, drawing my knees up on the couch. "You know she looked like me, right?" He looked horrified. "I didn't, Olivia, I didn't mean anything by it." "I didn't say it was wrong," I whispered. His breath hitched. I wasn't sure what I was doing. Maybe I should have been angry. Maybe I should have left. But I didn't. I leaned closer. "I've always wondered," I said softly, "what it would feel like to be wanted like that." His eyes flicked to my mouth. Then away. "Olivia." "I'm not a kid anymore," I said, reaching out to touch his hand. He didn't pull away. You don't have to pretend I am. I'm your uncle. Not by blood, I reminded him. You married into the family. His silence was confirmation. My heart thudded as I moved closer, my hand brushing his cheek. I'm not trying to shock you. I want to feel something real. And I don't know why, but when I did,